Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cup Ringside, where we give you the best seat in the house when we're talking all things wrestling. And welcome to our newest show, the Cup Ringside Weekly Wrestling Weekly Review Roundup. Oh Lord, I don't even know what the name of the show is. I can talk, y'all. I can put out words that actually make sense. I've been known to do that. So let's start that over. Let me flip it, reverse it, rewind it. Welcome to the Cup Ringside, where we give you the best seat in the house on all things wrestling. And to our newest show, the Cup at the Cup Ringside, the Wrestling Roundup, Wrestling Weekly Roundup. Period. There it is. I got it the best that I could. But anyway, I am Lana, your resident evil diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea, because you know I love me some tea. Purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I'm currently just drinking on some water because that's what I do. And stay hydrated, people. If you're in a hot place like I am, please stay safe. Please stay hydrated. And yeah, let's do that. But as always, never far from my life, never far from my presence is always my cup mug. And you should get your cup mug or any of our cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the US, Canada, and Mexico. So there are no excuses. And I do know Topher and Brooke do have cup mugs. They just don't have them handy. But it's okay. As long as they got them, I'm all right with that. Period.
Oh, don't you dare be sour! Clap your hands and feel the power because the Cup Ringside has now rewound this past week. And let me tell you, I am so excited because I absolutely believe in the content that we are about to bring to you. And I don't want to give anything away, but just if you're feeling so frisky, you can always just say his name. And just like Beetlejuice, he will appear. And that's Topher. Because I believe in Tofendre.
That started with New Day,
Yes.
transferred to Joe Hendry, Toph Hendry.
Tofendre.
Welcome, everybody. Hi, everybody. It is Brooke. I am your reigning defending queen of the Cup, and I am so excited to be here on our newest show on the Cup Ringside. We are finally trying some new stuff, and I'm really excited to try this new stuff and see what happens, because I think the show is going to be great. So let's not dilly-dally, and let's just get straight into the news.
I love new. And
I would love to jump into the new of the new of the new, but we have to do what we do.
Oh.
But first, you have to subscribe to this here channel. We see you watching and we appreciate you, but we need you to subscribe. We have enough people watching. We need subscribers. That's the important part here, people. So subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell. Let us know in the comments if you think our new format is good, how you like it, what you think. Tell us. Tell us. We can take the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. We can accept it. We're grown. We can handle it. But let us know what you think. And like, this is part of the Cup Network, so we do have 3 other channels that we would love for you to support and subscribe. Go into our description. Our link tree is there. All the links to our YouTube channels are there. So click all of our YouTube channels, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content, because trust me, we have a lot of content coming out your way at one time, all the time. We have it all. And also, our audio podcast links are down there as well. So click the audio podcast links if you want to check us out on the go. If you're out running, if you're out shopping, if you're out doing whatever, check out the Cup on the go, period. And our Patreon link is down there as well. Click our Patreon link so you can have early access to content across all 4 channels and exclusive content across all 4 channels only in our Patreon link. So you want to join that and be a part, and we appreciate you. Period. Now, it's time for some hot news. So, what's going on in wrestling that we want to talk about?
So, first up, if the women's tag titles has been your favorite piece of entertainment that is on the main roster,
Girl, it
and
ain't been
you,
nobody's favorite piece of anything ever.
you feel that they are being adequately ignored, then I will give you some hope. The women, you know what? WWE's never been good at tag team championships. So I'm going to give them a mulligan on this one and let them try it again, but this time with singles titles. There is a lot of rumor and innuendo that WWE is going to be introducing a women's intercontinental and United States championship. They did it with the North American championship on NXT. And I dare say that we may have more reasons for women to get in the ring with each other, because for some reason, coming up with a creative storyline as to why they should be fighting is lacking. So, new belts for the women.
For the clarity on that, I just want to remind everybody that we have never had a singles match at WrestleMania between two women that wasn't for a championship. That's a problem.
That's a huge problem.
Secondly, yes, this should have been a thing like 2 years ago. Like, yes, please, dear God, I need it now. Because the big problem that people have been having for a while with all the, like, my problem with the women's divisions have been there's no movement near the top, like up until very recently. This is a way to elevate talent, because if you look at people that have been holding these mid-card championships here lately, outside of Logan Paul, right? For the most part, okay, let's just say the Intercontinental Championship. They've been winning that belt and then moving up the card. It happened to Gunther. Didn't really happen to Ricochet, but it happened to Sami Zayn. So hopefully, people are going to keep going up the card when they held these mid-card titles, and hopefully it'll happen with the women too. And we can continue to pretend like none of the tag belts in WWE, including the women's tag belts, exist.
Well, I do think that it has the opportunity, right? Like what you said, is that now we can have somewhat of a workhorse championship, right? So you can have a women's title, such as the Intercontinental or United States, that gets defended more regularly, like more regularly on television. And so it gives more opportunity for exposure. So that way you can protect the main event women and allow, for them to not have to have, it doesn't feel like, oh, we're not getting any women's matches and things of that nature, because you shouldn't be defending the women's world championship every single week. You shouldn't be defending the women's WWE championship every single week. So this gives us more opportunity to see more women compete regularly.
Agreed. And it also makes it not, when we have more women competing, it doesn't look like, oh, this pay-per-view is going on and there's no women's matches. Like, it's very clear and obvious that there's no women's matches on this card this time, or it's only one. Like, you have opportunities for newer talent, or like, we'll get to see more people vying for these belts. We get to see more people wrestling and actually having a goal to fight for, because like, lately, like you say, if you're not in the top, if you're not in those top of the women's division, we only see you when we walk by in the background at catering, or somebody standing in the background. They're like, oh, there you are. And I want to see more of our women who are talented, very much so, get a chance to be out there. Like, where is Shotzi? Where is she?
Well, she tore her ACL.
Okay. I'm about to say, I'm like, where are, it's a few people, and you be like, where are you?
Right.
So,
I mean, regardless of anything, though, more opportunities for the women under any context, I'm down. So,
Right.
let's see what they do with these belts. They haven't really been able to do much with the tag belts. They've been around for long enough that we can just say that. But I'll say the NXT Women's North American title, on the other hand, has been fantastic so far. I think Kalani Jordan has been really proving herself with that belt.
She's been a great champion.
Well, she's already defended that belt against a few people.
Yep.
Like, she just had a really good match with Sol Ruka at Heatwave. She's defended it against Mia Yim already. She defended it against, I'm blanking on her name. What is that woman's name? The really great girl, and I cannot remember her name. Regardless, she's defended it against a few people at this point. She's been a great champion. Let's see if they can duplicate that success on the main roster. Yeah, I'm excited. Like, please, please.
And I really think too that one of the things that's going to bring an element is you have these women that come in like Lyra Valkyrie. You don't want her to come in right away and then win the big one, but she would be a good champion, to start off with, to hold that belt. Like it gives somebody that's debuting a chance to go after something that is not quite the main event step, but a step to the main event. Therefore, we feel like these women have earned the ability to be in the main event.
Absolutely.
Given depth.
Absolutely.
Speaking
All right.
Well,
let's just keep talking about it, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now in wrestling, right? Especially with WWE, but also with TNA now, that we've been getting all of this TNA crossover stuff happening. And a lot of people have been like, oh, TNA's not really getting much out of this, but they are, because apparently Slammiversary sold out, which is kind of insane for TNA. First time they sold out a pay-per-view in a long time. So props on that. But the bigger deal coming out of this week for me is we're seeing the continuation of that NXT TNA partnership, and we have the return of Joe Hendry.
I believe.
Keep it going.
I don't want to get demonetized. I don't know what's copyright.
It's fine. We believe in Joe Hendry. Clap. But also the return of Zachary Wentz, the former Nash Carter from MSK, and the debut of Trey Miguel, the Rascals on TNA. This is the one I have been wanting outside of Joe Hendry. I love Joe Hendry, don't get me wrong, but seeing the Rascals interact with Wesley, I think that's one of the best segments we've had on NXT programming in a hot minute. And tonight, as of filming, they're having a match with the three of them are taking on Gallus. So we'll see how this works. Would not be shocked if WWE buys TNA in the short term. I'll be honest. I feel like this partnership has worked so well. So much of this talent has just really absorbed itself into the WWE brand. I think WWE would keep TNA on as like a subsidiary development thing, like they have with NXT. And I hope that's what they do, because I think it's just this partnership is so good. I don't know why they would end it. And I think that's the logical conclusion at this point, especially with the TKO money. I hope that's where we go.
I don't want to see them buy it. I like that we're integrating, because I think there needs to be a place. NXT is good for homegrown, like performance center talent to then also meet with people that have gained a reputation out on the independents. And I think that TNA bridges that a little bit. So TNA gives an opportunity for people to build some notoriety without shooting their proverbial load in NXT before they're necessarily ready, right? Because maybe a Jordan Grace goes into NXT too soon and she's not well received, but she kills it over in this other, area, and now she's a hotter commodity for WWE to bring in. And now there's a hotter reason, because you just, all of a sudden we have this random new person that trained at the Performance Center debuting. Here's a new character, but none of us care about it, right? So you can have that healthy mix of homegrown versus somebody that's built a name on the independents coming together with NXT, and it elevates before going into the main roster. So that's the way that I picture it, because I do like that they're getting a lot of, people with notoriety that are coming from there, and you can test them on NXT before going straight into the main roster. Like, I think hands down, Joe Hendry is going to be on the main roster by Survivor Series. Joe Hendry is involved in a Survivor Series matchup, not necessarily a Survivor Series match, but a match at Survivor Series.
Wait a minute, but we're bringing back Survivor Series matches, and it's not just going to be War Games.
War Games.
It's definitely going to be War Games still.
Yeah.
It has to be War Games. Honestly, I like War Games, so.
You don't want teams to strive to survive?
I like War Games. I just don't want it to be locked into Survivor Series. I kind of want it to be one of those matches that just happens, I get why they are, because it's kind of hard to you have to have the two rings and all that other stuff, but like, it could be. I don't know.
I mean, me personally would love just to have a War Games pay per view on its own, like have that own PLE as one of the ones that they do, because I like the War Games aspect and I like how that works, but I also like the Survivor Series X aspect and where the two brands are going against each other and making the whole Survivor, or heck, put it NXT as well. Make it three brands going against each other and having which brand survives. And that'll be a good way to prepare the people in NXT for the main roster level. Those who you think are ready to come up, test them out at Survivor Series. And then as far as the SmackDown Raw thing, it's just that's what I like for Survivor Series. Me personally, I only want the Survivor Series. Let's just two brands come together, fight it out on all fronts, because I feel like that's the most fun we have within the brands around that time, where the brands are like, no, we better, no, we better, no. I
Hmm.
think that is so fun to me. So I would rather them separate War Games from Survivor Series, let War Games be their own PLE, and do it that way,
I'm
personally. But
not a huge fan of the brand's supremacy story arc necessarily, because it's it doesn't like do that for me. But I do like the champion versus champion aspect that they were doing at Survivor Series. I thought that was a lot of fun. And Survivor Series is an opportunity to get over, unexpectedly, because they would have team captains and then you would have mid card wrestlers in there, but then you would have the team captain get eliminated earlier on, and then the mid card win, like when John Cena and Chris Benoit won in 2003. They were not. It was Kurt Angle that was the team captain of that team, but they had an opportunity to get over. And I think you have that fun element with Survivor Series that you get to see. Plus, you get to see some matchups that you don't normally get to see.
Hmm.
absolutely, I love seeing teams that are not usually have never wrestled together, or just these random teams coming together, and then they either do really really well together or they flop big time together. And I enjoy that aspect of it all. But that's just me. That's
Hmm.
just
Are
But
they
me.
doing
to
war
double
games?
back
Oh,
to
yeah.
double back to everything, talking about TNA. Last thing, um, TNA. A lot of people said when they fired Scott D'Amore earlier this year, the former president, that people thought TNA was going to go on a downturn. I think the exact opposite has happened. I think they've just continued that upward trajectory. I don't think firing Scott was necessarily a good move, because I think he literally carried that company for about 2 years on his back creatively. But I think where we're at now, uh, some of these stars are just getting bigger and bigger, and I think this company, if it's not just part of the WWE banner in the next few years, I think where they're at, they're just going to keep moving up in the world, and they're going to keep being fantastic. Um, and also, Jordan Grace's contract expires in January. I just want the people to know that, just for the record.
I guess we'll see her at Royal Rumble again for part
Hmm.
two.
Monday Night Raw,
And Raw
Netflix.
after Rumble. Just
Maybe she'd
saying.
be a great candidate to be the United States Women's Champion.
I
Just
mean,
saying.
well, let's take it back a little bit further. All I'm going to say is that last year, Naomi lost the TNA women's title right before the Royal
Mm-hmm.
Rumble. She comes back in the
Mm-hmm.
Rumble. Jordan Grace could lose it at Hard to Kill next year and then come back at
Mm-hmm.
the Royal Rumble. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying.
I'm just saying. Those things are all possibilities.
Shower
Um,
thoughts.
yeah, just thoughts. But let's keep it moving, because I want to get into some SmackDown highlights for this week. Um, Not many to talk about. I'm gonna be honest. SmackDown kind of disappointed me, and I thought it was gonna be much better after it being the SmackDown after Money in the Bank. I'm like, this has gotta be better than this, right?
Mhm.
Nah, nah. They didn't give me what I was looking for, and I some highlights. Let me just jump into some highlights. So Tiffany Stratton is very much excited about her Money in the Bank. She's celebrating, but then that's cut off very short, and I'm like, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of Tiffany Stratton, but I don't like the fact that she can't even celebrate her Money in the Bank win longer than what she like. Give her some time. I felt like they were rushing this segment. They cut it off. Bailey comes out. They exchange words. Nia Jax, of course, comes out because Nia is facing Bayley at SummerSlam. So they have some words. Uh, Jax Stratton attacks Bayley. Bayley's down. Then Meechin comes out. Meechin, because Meechin is going to face Nia Jackson this next in the match. She hits it with the kendo stick. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Meechin, Nia fight. Nia wins. Absolutely. It, it just. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like Tiffany Stratton. Like I felt like she should be able to celebrate winning Money in the Bank and having that achievement, but it just felt like everything was taken short. Other matches was we had Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews versus Angel Umberto. Who cares? Uh we had Blair Davenport versus Naomi. That was fine. I just they don't have chemistry developed between them yet. I didn't feel the match was that great. It was fine though. LA Knight is going to get his match against Logan Paul once Logan Paul signs the contract, but I feel like this is going to be drug out for when Logan Paul decides to sign this contract, but whatever. That match will happen at SummerSlam. DIY versus A Town Down for the tag team titles. Just a rematch because they want their titles back. They don't get it. DIY wins, and this was it didn't do it.
Do we like DIY as
Yeah,
tag champions?
I do like DIY as a tag champions. I do, but
I felt terrible so I love Grayson Waller. I think Grayson Waller, one of the best there ever is to do it. And like so much potential. Didn't necessarily like his tag team partner, but I like for them to just not be around after WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden, random SmackDown, you're going to have DIY win the tag titles. When I feel like DIY has been building in such momentum that they should have gotten an opportunity at a PLE. And then it's even just throw it away with another random rematch on SmackDown. Again, WWE does not know how to tag team wrestle.
No.
I mean, I will say the match itself was very good, and I think the overall title win was very happy for me because I love DIY. I never cared about A Town Down Under as a tag team, much less as the tag team champions. I think it was very clearly a placeholder thing until everything got settled after the draft and all that other stuff. They didn't want to have two champs on the same show with the belts being separated. I get it. I just think that it was an okay thing to happen. I'm not mad at it. I'm happy that DIY have the belts now, and we'll see where things go. That match should have. I mean, I'm not gonna even say that match should have been on Money in the Bank. I think the match that should have been on Money in the Bank was Liv Morgan and Zelina Vega. But I get why people are frustrated, but I also have to remind myself that they're doing this thing where they put title matches on the regular shows now, and it's not having these bloated pay-per-views. So I'm not going to be too mad at it, and I'm just going to say this is the one time where I'm going to look at WWE and be like, okay, I get it with this particular choice,
but do better.
But still, you also have to recognize that don't make this consistent, okay? Because right now the big problem I've been having and that we've been having as a podcast is that we've been getting 2 women's matches on pay-per-views pretty much consistently. Even Money in the Bank was only 1, but 2 women's matches on pay-per-views consistently, and then men's world title match, men's IC title match, rarely US title, and then some other match inserted in there as filler. And like, I think on this particular pay-per-view at Money in the Bank, I honestly think we could have done without the bloodline mess and all of that stuff. I don't think we needed that at this particular pay-per-view. Nothing against the bloodline. I just feel like that could have been saved for a freaking SmackDown. That's all that matchup was with the SmackDown main event Teddy Long era. That's all it was.
No, so like, I agree. I think that it was the problem is that we need to go back to doing PLE. If you're going to do a PLE every 3 weeks, then just like bite the bullet and have them be brand specific. Give more stars an opportunity, because I do feel like if you're going to hold true to the brand extension, there's merit in it because you're going to help get stars over. If you're only going to have 5 matches per PLE, then do it. And you can have a PLE every 3 weeks. That's equitable for me, especially because it's not like I'm paying for it outside of the subscription, right? So like have the PLE every 3 weeks, have one for Raw, one for SmackDown. NXT gets its own PLE. So
They
like
do.
give every, then you can have a women's story, you can have a men's story, you can have a tag story. And it doesn't feel like it's oversaturated. Like Cody Rhodes needs to take some. Yes, I love that he's a fighting champion, but he's overexposed, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, is Solo Sikoa a threat to him? No. The only thing I care about is whether or not Roman Reigns is returning at SummerSlam.
I mean, to speak on the whole Cody thing, because Cody has become, I don't want to say stale, but I feel like I can't think of a better word than stale to me as champion. He's just being himself, and it feels like all of these feuds are just Cody deals with bad person and beats bad person and moves on to the next bad person, right? This isn't 2007 John Cena, okay?
No.
And like it's turning into 2007 John Cena. What I want from this is I want Cody and these feuds to matter and to feel different, unique, and distinct, and they're not, because the AJ Styles feud had that potential, right? It could have been more. Instead, they made the I Quit match end stupidly, and the segment where AJ faked retirement. We all know about the Mark Henry pink salmon jacket promo. Okay, we all knew what was going to happen. You can't replicate that magic twice.
No, that was beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
perfect
beautiful.
promo, by the way. Regardless, we'll talk about that at a later date. But and then the Logan Paul stuff was stupid. The Solo Sikoa stuff is stupid. We know Solo's not going to take the belt off Cody. Like, I just don't care right now, and I feel like the only way they're going to make me care is to have Roman come back in an area away from Cody or with Cody. Because until Roman's back, we all feel like we're just waiting for the rematch, right? We're waiting for part 3.
Well,
And to me, that keeps the belt being lame. At least when I never thought I'd say this, but at least when Roman was champ, the defenses weren't on every pay-per-view taking up a match slot. And we like had time between the defenses. Like, I never thought I'd want a part-time champ more than a full-time champ, but right now, maybe I do.
Look, it's like Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes is like giving us Grease 2, right? You think you're going to get all of the same fun as the first one, but it's a totally different cast that's not as good. So,
I mean,
Solo is great. I think Solo is incredible. I love the werewolf. The Samoan werewolf is my favorite Samoan.
here's my thing. And I know this might be a very hot take, and it probably won't happen. But I kind of want Solo to take the belt off Cody, because I think it'll make Cody more interesting if he doesn't have the belt and has to chase it again.
Not a hot take. Totally agree.
I know it's not going to happen, and I know this is, but I feel like Cody chasing a title is a more exciting Cody than Cody having a title, and that's only because the way they're making him fight constantly over and over, and these, like you said before, these feuds aren't making sense. They're not going any further than the one pay-per-view that they fight, and then it's over. And then it's like, well, what is this for? We get 2 or 3 weeks of this build-up of this feud, and I'm not totally sold on it, but I'm supposed to be sold on it before the PLE comes around. And then when it does come around and Cody wins, and then it's over. Like, that's it. We don't hear anything else about this feud again. So I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And honestly, I think if Solo takes the belt off Cody with the help of the bloodline, doing what the bloodline does, it only makes this bloodline seem like, yes, they are the faction that is going to dominate SmackDown, and let them have the give them the tag team titles. Let them be like Roman and the Usos. Let them have all the gold. Let them do that for SmackDown for a little bit. I'm not saying for a long time, but for a little bit to show some legitimacy in this bloodline so people can actually feel like, oh, yeah, they doing it. They're scared. And then Roman comes back and somehow dismantles this whole bloodline thing again. I don't know. I just don't feel like Cody having the belt is doing what they thought. It's not giving what they thought it was going to give. And so I'm not that impressed by it anymore.
I mean, for me, I thought it would have been really interesting if he just lost the belt to AJ. But, and I get why they didn't have that happen. But you're telling me that AJ Styles, like, let's say, getting a handful of tights on Cody at Backlash to, like, steal the championship that Cody just worked for a year and a half to get. And then them feuding into whatever the Saudi show was after, I forget which, King and Queen of the Ring. And then, I mean, hell, you could have Cody win the belt back at, I forgot the pay-per-view already, whatever was in France. Not Backlash. It was after Backlash.
King and Queen of the Ring.
After King and Queen of the Ring, there was another pay-per-view before Money in the Bank. Before Money in the Bank. No, there was another pay-per-view. Regardless, whatever the pay-per-view was, where Cody fought Logan Paul was King and Queen of the Ring, there was a pay-per-view after that. Whatever that pay-per-view was, I think that would have been the prime opportunity to have Cody win the belt back if you want to keep the belt on Cody. But, like, the problem with these title matches has nothing to do with Cody himself as champion. It's just that we know he's not dropping the belt, which makes the
Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle. Yes. Well,
it's making these feuds less interesting, and it's also making these matches feel like they have no stakes. I want Cody to feel better as a champion, but right now it just feels like, no.
Well, that's what they need. We need personal stakes in the Cody matches, because my issue is it's not with Cody Rhodes being champion and continuing to be champion. I need a bigger reason to be invested than just Cody having the championship with a chance to lose it. I need to feel threatened that Cody is going to lose it, and I need him to not lose it to the person that he's up against. I need, because that's the problem. Is like, I'm totally okay with AJ having another championship run, especially this AJ, because this AJ is on fire as a heel. You know what I mean? Like, I am okay with these people beating Cody, and that's a problem. My other problem with Cody Rhodes is there are at least 4 other superstars that I have a bigger invested interest in their success than Cody Rhodes. That being CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Gunther. The problem is they're all on Raw.
Well, and I mean, I think that just goes to show you how well Raw has been doing lately, like in terms of like the upper tier people on Raw. But speaking of, why don't we just go ahead and transition into that? Let's talk about some quick hits.
Yes, let's talk about Raw.
So first off, we'll get to the world title picture in a minute, but first, let's talk about something that I was really excited about. We finally get the union of this Chad Gable, Julius and Brutus Creed thing. Happy to see that finally happen. We've been having this build to it for the past few weeks. But then we get more Wyatt 6 Chad Gable mess. Not happy about that. I want that. Let these two groups go away from each other. Let the Wyatt 6 should fight anyone else, and Chad Gable should be fighting anyone else.
But why?
Because Chad just turned heel. You cannot be having him fight these spooky dudes who are, with the way they debuted, right? Wyatt 6, I mean, granted, they've been getting these, like, really good packages, like the one with Eric Rowan on Raw last night.
Oh,
my Lord.
That was so good.
I broke.
I lost it.
I broke.
I lost it.
Lord, like, it's been a minute since I've cried at pro wrestling, but, like, oof, Lord, that got me.
It.
And I want to see the other tapes.
Me too.
I want to see more, yeah. But, like, I just really want them to have the opportunity to be like sympathetic heels, right? All too often, like, these people, like, because the thing is, when they debuted, right, that debut, 1, was incredible, but 2, it was a heel debut, right? It doesn't make sense for them to do this debut, have all these vignettes explaining why they did what they did, and then for them to double back and make them into faces, and I hope that's not what they do. I also don't think you can just turn Chad Gable into a face, especially not after this segment with Bo Dallas that happened on Raw on Monday.
So, like,
Yeah, Chad Gable is such a good heel. So like, what do you do? Let them deviate from each other. I don't think they need to be feuding with each other, and that's why I'm still holding out hope that the person they're actually going after is Jey Uso. I know that I'm probably wrong. I just feel like it's a better build at this point. And I feel
I
like it
would
makes
hate
more
that.
sense for them to feud with
Oh,
him, but maybe that's
sorry.
just me.
Five five superstars I care about more than Cody
I would
Rhodes.
hate that
Forgot
so
about Jey
much.
Uso.
I must say, I would hate that so much if the Wyatts go after Jay. It would make sense, but I would hate it with all of my heart and
Mhm.
soul. I'd be like,
Well, the whole
no,
thing about like turning your back on your family, like I know, but like if you really want to get
no.
technical, you really want to get technical. Otis Tozawa and Nexium left Chad, not the other way around. And I feel like Jay being the person that they go after under these circumstances makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying. Um,
No.
but let's take a
That
step
hurts
back.
my heart.
We have an official confirmation of Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan happening at SummerSlam now.
Oh,
If this is not a custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match, I will be so mad.
it needs to
Not a
be. It needs to be.
custody.
It needs to be. But it also has a. It could very well main event. I think it's
It
the
should.
biggest.
It
It is
should.
the biggest championship match we have going for us right
It
now.
should main event, honestly.
We
And
already know it's going to main event. It shouldn't, but it will.
It will.
Cody and
Damian
Solo's going to
Priest.
main event. Cody and
Oh,
Solo's going to main
yeah,
event.
yeah.
It shouldn't,
That's go
but it
main event.
will.
It
Um,
shouldn't. I agree. It shouldn't.
mhm.
It shouldn't.
But finally, let's talk about that world title picture on Raw. Damian Priest and Gunther getting their feud kicked off. Gunther laying some shots below the belt this week. He doesn't normally go there. It was very I don't want to say good because it did kind of make me a little bit like maybe that's a bit too far, but I think the actual segment was just incredible. Um, and it also showed that they're continuing down this whole like, yeah, Damian Priest is in the Judgment Day, but he's not a bad guy kind of vibe that they've been
Mm-hmm.
going for since Mania. So I'm hoping what ends up happening is Priest just keeps doing his thing. I want him to lose the belt at SummerSlam. I know that's controversial, and I know some people are really enjoying this reign. I am too. But like Finn Balor versus Damian Priest now, please.
I loved the promo that Gunther cut, and it's because it was a little too far. I think that Gunther is a heel. He is a bad guy, and a lot of people love Gunther. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that Gunther needs to break that a little bit because I like that Damian Priest is a little bit more sympathetic. I actually like took offense to this whole like, oh, you're basically calling Damian Priest a street rat, and that's of his own making. Like, if he wanted a better life, he should have made one for himself. And it's like, whoa, 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 like,
Right. Like, excuse you.
it's not that easy, bro. So it gives me like I need a reason for Damian Priest to kick Gunther's arse.
Mm-hmm. And I think
I,
now that they're built like very clearly portraying Damian as the face going into SummerSlam, um, I think it's gonna make it hurt even worse when he gets betrayed by Finn Balor. And
I
I
do. I
cannot
do
wait.
too. I as much as I hate it, as much as I would hate to see Damian Priest lose the belt, because I am enjoying his reign. I think he's a really good champion. He's done really well holding the belt, and I hope he gets it back soon. After if he loses it, I hope he gets a chance to get it back. But I do think he needs to lose it because of the whole Finn Balor thing. I think Finn uh, turns on Damian and kicks him out of the Judgment Day. I think everything goes awry with this whole mommy Liv Morgan Dominic situation as well, because I fear that maybe Finn Balor and Liv Morgan might team up on some levels of some other things. Like I think Rhea Ripley might be getting kicked out the Judgment Day as well in all of this mess and being replaced by Liv Morgan, because Liv Morgan still has revenge. Her revenge tour is not over. She has not taken everything away from Rhea Ripley as of yet, and she promised to take away everything. So me personally, I need Liv to win this match at SummerSlam. I don't think Rhea Ripley need to win it. I don't know. I don't want her to win it. I want Liv to win it so she can continue on her revenge tour and just keep gnawing at Rhea. And like we could take this little feud they have further. Like we don't have to end it at SummerSlam. Let it go on a little bit further. I don't mind that.
Liv Morgan needs to have this belt until WrestleMania. You
I
cannot convince me
agree.
otherwise. Because at this point, right, I feel like this is one of those situations that happened ages ago with like the Daniel Bryan situation where he was feuding with Randy Orton and Triple H, and then he lost the feud, goes in, has that whole Wyatt family stuff, comes back, and then, you know, WrestleMania happens at 30,
Mhm.
right? That's what I feel like needs to happen here. I feel like Liv needs to win this match at SummerSlam, right? I honestly don't think it should be a custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match. I think it'd be funny.
No,
I think it'd be
it'd be
great.
cute, but no.
this match needs to be for the title.
It
I
needs to be
get that.
serious.
Well, it is
Now,
for
Yes.
yeah.
You should make this match no holds barred, extreme rules, whatever,
Right.
because that like a street fight. Make this down, dirty, and brutal. But
Mhm.
don't make it a custody of Dominic Mysterio ladder match. We do not need this feud centered around a boy.
No,
but then,
absolutely not. I'm sick
but-
of it already being feuded around boy. But
Okay.
okay.
I think what they're doing is smart because I think it's portraying Liv as intelligent and cunning more than it is making her lovesick. I think she's just playing it like
Mhm.
I know what I'm doing. I'm not
Right.
enamored with this boy. I'm just making him enamored with me, and I think that's the logical right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What I want is I want Liv to win this match at SummerSlam, right? I want a long-term break between the two of them. I want Rhea to start. I want Liv to start feuding with somebody else. I don't care who. You could have Liv feud with like Lyra Valkyria if you really want. I don't care, right? Liv goes off and does her own thing. Rhea is now dealing with the shambles of Judgment Day being gone and dead and buried and whatever. And her and Damien and maybe Dom, depending on how that breakup happens, are doing their own thing for a bit. I don't want Rhea to win the Rumble. Somebody on SmackDown can win it. I don't care. You can say Jade or Bianca, whoever wins it. Great. Happy for them. And then Rhea wins the Elimination Chamber. Then she's fighting Liv at Mania. Then we're getting a proper conclusion to this feud.
Mhm.
And I still think Liv should win that match. But that's beside the point. We'll talk about that
I
when
know
we get to
you
it.
think so.
my Topher, because of what you're saying, is a very good point. This is not it's not two girls fighting
No.
over a boy. It's a
No.
dumb boy that is being used as a
Used.
tool in this.
Absolutely.
This is Liv. This is like Liv serving Ariana Grande, break up with your boyfriend. You know, like
Mhm.
it is. I'm just gonna take your boyfriend because I can.
I can.
And I
Not because
think-
I want to.
What we'll see happen is I think Dominic is going to cost Rhea this match to help protect Liv, and then Liv is going to dump Dominic.
For Finn Balor.
Dumps
And
Dominic,
take the
kisses
judgment.
Finn Balor like fully
Yep.
on the mouth, moves
Yep.
on, and like
Moves on.
that's what I want.
And
That's what
That's
I
Can
what
want.
I
have-
want.
Can have listen, I am all an advocate for on-screen romances. I think that they are vital. I think that love is, you have a show that is about war. I think having an equal amount of love in it as well is conducive, and it brings fun to it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I this Raw was incredible. I think this was really like just a solid show from top to bottom. I will also mention, I don't want to go into full detail, but this Intercontinental Championship stuff now involving Ilya Dragunov, here for that. Triple threat at SummerSlam is going to be great. But moving on past that, a lot of big stuff happening as well past the weekly shows this week. So what
Mhm.
else we got?
What other news we got?
Stephanie Stephanie V.
We
don't
will
know
figure
Yo,
out how to say
we
her
don't know how
name.
to say her last name, so we're gonna stick with Stephanie V.
She has horns. It's a horny girl.
Please stop. Please
No,
stop.
please
Please,
no, please
don't.
no, please
She
no.
never.
is this is a hot commodity that I am very, very excited to see come over into WWE. Will she go to NXT first? I think that's what we're universally understanding, right?
Okay, I will keep it 100, okay? Until she had this match with Mercedes Moné at Forbidden Door, just like literally less than a month ago, I
Mhm.
had no idea who she was. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to pretend like I follow New Japan that hard. I'm not going to pretend like I follow CMLL that hard. What I will say is, saw that match. That match was insane. Fantastic match. And I'm excited if that's what the quality she can bring across the board. She did have a match with Isla Dawn in Mexico at a live event this past weekend, which was also apparently very well received. She won that match. Way to devalue your women's tag champs, WWE, 10 out of 10. But if that's the quality she can consistently bring and she's going to be this big international star and an international draw, I have no problem with her being here. I'm excited. I'm also really interesting exit based off of what I saw because AEW apparently was trying to get her very hard and WWE scooped out underneath them on this one. And I remember when they signed Will Ospreay a while back, people were like, "Oh, maybe AEW's got the coin that WWE used to have." WWE's got the name still, and I think that's going to pull a lot of these people that might go with AEW, like at the surface level. But this is a big get, I think, and I think it has the potential to be a long-term big get instead of just a short-term thing.
AEW is good at getting stars that want money but don't want to work.
Not
well, but not you're not wrong. But here's my thing, and I'll say this: I think WWE was like, we fumbled the bag a little bit, getting Mercedes Moné back in doing what they did. So we're not gonna fumble it again. And they saw this match that she had with Mercedes Moné, and they were like, "Look here, look here, Stephanie. Period. Let me holler at you for a second. You could go off, and you can go to AEW if you want to, and you can get whatever they go offer you and the coins or whatever. But with the talent that you have, with the backing of the WWE, you can go to the moon. We can sing you to the stratosphere. They can get you to maybe they can get you to the sky. Like they'll fly you. They'll get you to the sky. We gonna get you out of this world if you come to us. And when you have the reputation of a WWE behind you and all of the stuff that goes with it, and even stars who are in the WWE now, who used to be in WWE, left, came back, was like, it's a totally new WWE right now. This is not the same WWE as before. Everything is different. Everything is better. Everything is more. Everything is more. And they like being in the environment. So she had to look at that and was like, you know what? I'd rather go to the moon. I can fly first class anywhere, but I'd rather go to the moon. Can you send me to the moon, AEW? And WWE gave her that. And so I don't mind her. I'm excited to have her.
We also do need to talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to her getting signed with WWE. Not only is she leaving New Japan, apparently she wasn't. She was on an appearance-based contract with them, so that's no big deal. But leaving New Japan, had announced dates for New Japan, like relatively close to now. Had 2 championships in CMLL at the same time. Had announced dates with them as well. Just leaves, right? And I think this might have just been one of those things where, like, this was just the opportunity and she had to take it.
Absolutely.
I know apparently those companies were not happy with her, but let's be real, okay? If WWE cares about her this much and they flashed her enough coin, does it really matter how much what those companies are feeling about her right now? I don't think so.
I don't think she cares that much.
And we also have to recognize that if this does end well for her, no matter how long she is in these companies, they'll be fine with bringing her back if she's big enough of a deal. We have seen hell has frozen over multiple times, to pardon the pun. So I'm excited for what this could bring. I think no matter where she goes on the product, she's going to be a great addition. And we're really just going to see, will WWE finally use an international signing to their advantage? Who knows?
Who knows?
That is an Oscar, of course.
Triple H does appreciate pro wrestling and does enjoy the Japanese style, strong style. He has done, I mean, the fact that Io Sky was, in the main event of WrestleMania, which never would have happened under the previous regime, in a one-on-one championship match against Bayley.
Ain't no main event, though.
Yeah, but it was like it's still it's the main event. Everything at WrestleMania is a main event.
Sure.
That's true. That is
You
true.
know. and I said, who should really main event WrestleMania? Did y'all watch that documentary?
Oh, well, let's not talk about it. Um,
But
hey, so let's talk about our last big news story of the day, because we do got to talk about it. It has been getting a lot of press coverage. This one clip of your guy Tony Khan, aka the chairman, CEO, owner of AEW. Adam Copeland is on the best run of his career in AEW. I'm just gonna respond to that with one word.
no,
No.
no,
And this is
Okay.
how
absolutely not.
Okay,
untouched.
I will defend this first. Okay, as the person here who watches the most AEW content. Okay, let's keep that 100. Okay, I'm the only person that will admit to enjoying AEW. Okay, still no. Like, he has been doing fine. I will give him that. He has been fine. He's currently injured because he's old. And he's
And dumb.
also like, I'm not gonna go that far. But like,
He
he was
jumped off a steel cage when he doesn't need to.
sure, that's just AEW incarnate. You're right. But he was a two-time TNT champion. One of those belts reigns was literally for like 5 minutes though, so let's not count that. But like, even then, okay, the feud with Christian was good. I'll give him that. But like, other than that, it's just been a kind of mid-run at best. I don't think he's really. I don't want to say he's not tarnishing his legacy or anything. I don't think he's like actively making his career worse by working there. But I also don't think this is the best run of his career by any means. I think we have seen way
Far
better
better
work out
runs.
of him.
Yeah,
Like,
Yep.
best run of his career for me is like him running SmackDown from 2007 to 2010. Like, that's peak Edge for me. So like, Adam Copeland, great wrestler, great talent. I think he is bringing eyes to the product, whether he likes it or not. But him being there, it's not the best run of his career, but not even close.
I see AEW as it is, and this is where I think that AEW really needs to start presenting itself, not necessarily as we're not an alternative to WWE. We're not trying to be WWE. We are our own entity. And I think that AEW is a great place for up and coming talent, for international talent that want to cut their teeth on an American audience, and for WWE talent that is all done and past their prime and just needs to work, 100 some odd dates, a la WCW without the terrible writing.
Sometimes with the terrible writing.
Sometimes with the terrible writing.
I,
That was a terrible gimmick by terrible creative.
I will say that I have watched a little bit more AEW recently, just catching it on a whim, and will sit and watch for a minute. I would no, you can't say that that's his best run. No, you can't. You can't look back at all of his work and honestly say that this is the best run he's had. Because if you do that, then you're delusional. And I sometimes I can be the queen of delusional, and I'm okay with that. But I also have to be realistic. And that is, I love Edge. Edge is one of my top favorite wrestlers of all time. Edge is one of those top guys. He is definitely in my top 5 of greatest wrestlers of all time for me. I fell in love with that man the first time he walked out and was sitting in the rafters at WWE. That was the moment I was like, who is he? I love him. I don't know what he's about, but I love him. So
Edge head for life here.
I'm very realistic about his run and his performance and what he does. I just no, you can't be that delusional and look over his whole entire career.
Right.
His entire career and say that this is the best run he's had. He won't even look and say this is the best run. This is his I'm about to get up out of here kind of run. Like, this is me doing what I need to do to continue to support my family and I'm about to head out. Like, I'm gonna save up some more coins and then I'm gonna head out. That's what this is. This is not his best run. He has done so much other work, and so I feel like Tony Khan is either super delusional or just he really trying to play in our face, and
I
I'm not gonna get my face played in like that.
I
No.
bet more people watch Slammiversary than whatever this next AEW pay per view is. Certainly more people in an arena.
I will say more people are watching AEW than TNA, and that mostly goes to what networks these shows are on. But I will also give this, as someone who watches all three of the major players in North America right now, I have consistently been enjoying watching TNA more than AEW lately. And that's just me. And that also goes to the fact that I appreciate TNA's style more than I like AEW's presentation. And I also find it hard to get invested in some of these people personally. Although I will say Ring of Honor's everything here for that. But it's just not for me really here lately. And I think part of that's just because I don't like the Young Bucks. But regardless of anything, I think it is a claim that Tony Khan has made that is at best delusional and at worst
delusional.
So no, it's just delusional. I don't know what else to say. It's just delusional. I mean,
It's delusional.
Actually, at worst, it kind of just degrades the siding he got to begin with, because, like, you saying, okay, this is the best run of his career. If this is the best run of his career, you are telling me that this man wasn't worth much to begin with, because
right, absolutely,
this run has not been that great. So, L.
Yeah, you took the L on that one. But you know who's not taking the L on it? Us. Because we're done. We did all we can. We talked all we can about wrestling. We rounded up the week. We wrapped it up in a nice little bow for you. So check, you know what you do. Hit the subscribe button. Do the notification bell. Let us know what you think about the wrestling round, our weekly wrap up. Let us know what you think. Tell us in the comments below. So
do
let us
you
know.
believe in Joe Hendry?
Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Yeah. Do you believe in the Cup Ringside? Do you believe in this show? Because we want to know. Are we on the right direction? Do we need to switch it up again? Let us know what you think. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on your way out. We appreciate you. Go to in the description below. Click the link tree. Hit all the links to all of our YouTube channels. Subscribe to all of them. Follow us on our audio podcast links as well. And you can join our Patreon as well. And you can follow us on our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow the three of us. Those handles are down there below. And you can always get your cup mug and your cup merch. Get your cup merch, period. And we're going to get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Merch.
So we wrapped up. We
wrap up.